One Zambia, one nation. The country was united when football glory was brought back in the country. This was in firstly form of the Africa Under 20 title, which the Junior Chipolopolo won. On this week's edition of News In Depth, we'll look at the journey of the Junior Chipolopolo to the Africa Under 20 title. I'm your presenter, Masauso Mukwayaya. Stay tuned. Majority of Zambians have great affection for football or soccer more than any other of the 44 group or individual sports disciplines practiced in Zambia. Sadly, the social scale weighing the amount of love that Zambians show towards football does not tally with the number of football titles that the country's football teams have won. Since independence, the most esteemed football title that the country has won is the Africa Cup of Nations, which was miraculously won in Gabon in 2012. Despite their one-off splendid performance at the Gabon 2012 Africa Cup of Nations, the senior football team has never qualified to the World Cup. However, their counterparts, the Junior Chipolopolo Under 20, has been to the World Cup on 2 occasions. The first time, the team, which comprised the likes of Isaac Chansa, appeared at the World Cup in 1999 but failed to go past the group stage. For the next 8 years, the junior sportsmen would fail to make it to the World Youth Championships. After close to a decade of absence, in 2007, a formidable team featuring young elite players such as Fwayo Tembo, Emmanuel Mbola and Clifford Mulenga made it to the then Africa Youth Championships. The team came out 4th and were eliminated by 5 times winners of the Youth Championships, Nigeria. However, coming out 4th at the competition consequently meant that the country had secured a place at the 2007 16th edition of the FIFA Under 20 World Cup for the second time. Zambia only managed to proceed to the last 16. To date, that remains the best record ever made by any Zambia Under 20 team. Looking at the considerably good record of successive Under 20 football teams, one may wonder where the young players are discovered from.
When you look at most of these guys that have now graduated to Under 20, they started from Under 17 through the tournament called Coca-Cola, which is sponsored yearly. That tournament has helped us very much as a Ministry of Education to tap talent, to identify talent, to develop talent. Some of them could have even matured. For example, Kennedy Mwene is one of the living examples. He has won Africa Cup together with that team. He is coming from the same ranks. We have this crop of boys that we are appreciating today. To us as a Ministry of Education, we can say that what we are putting together up as a ministry can bear fruit. And people are able to see what Ministry of Education is able to do. Yes, while we appreciate them, what we are looking at is to develop this talent to the fullest. That Zambia at one point we should be able to be identified globally.
The current Zambia Under 20 football team, which was assembled mid-2016, is showing relentless thirst for glowing football glory. In the last 6 months, the team has won 2 high-profile tournaments, registering no single loss at any of the 2 competitions.
It has been a long road to success. We started with the first phase. We started in June last year, which we wanted to look at the talent across the country. And we invited players from all over the country. I think from the way from our preparations, I'll start with COSAFA. From COSAFA, I think before we went to COSAFA, we were engaged with a lot of friendlies. I think we played 4 of our premier sides, which was Green Buffaloes, Red Arrows, Mighty Mufra Wanderers, and Napsa Stars. Amongst the 4 teams we played, we lost only one against Mufira Wanderers, and after that we went to Kosafa. I think in Kosafa we did well. We did not lose any game.
Regardless of the team's budding fresh talent, an average Zambian hardly knew about them. The country only became fully aware of the team when it hosted other teams from across Africa during the Total Under 20 Africa Cup of Nations. Ironically, the seemingly little known about lads managed to pull unprecedented crowds to the Hero Stadium. Days before the tournament kicked off on February 26, 2017, all tickets for the opening game between Zambia and Guinea had sold out. All seats in the 50,000 capacity National Hero Stadium were reserved by soccer-frenzy Zambians. Sandra Mwila, a journalistically endowed sports reporter at the Times of Zambia, recollects how the team was regarded as underdogs in their group despite winning the regional Kosafa tournament.
Actually, they were underdogs going into this tournament because Zambia has never actually won the Afcon tournament. They've won Kosafa at junior level quite a number of times, but not the Afcon. But some people had hope because looking at how the team has been performing going into the preparations, they had quite a number of preparatory high-friendly games with the likes of Barcelona, Tenerife, and Bassi FC. Yeah, and before going into the tournament, they actually won the 2016 Kosafa in December in South Africa. So there was some hope for the team.
Distinguished football analysts in the country also reminisce how the boys were regarded as mere hosts at the prestigious Under-20 Africa Cup of Nations.
They've punched beyond their weights. No one gave them a chance when the tournament started. They were not even among us the favourites. The only thing that we remembered about them, they were hosting. But now they've punched beyond their weights. And now people are looking forward to them even doing better at the Under-20 World Cup in South Korea. And we've been drawn with Iran, Portugal, and of course Costa Rica. In my opinion, that's a very fair draw. Extremely fair draw, if you ask me. Zambia should qualify out of that group together with Portugal.
However, for the Portugal-based ingenious attacking midfielder Emmanuel Banda, the underdog tag lumped on the team by several football enthusiasts was a disguised motivating factor.
It being that we're not one of the favorites, actually did not put pressure on us. At least I would say it never really inflicted any pressure on us. It was something that we thought and said, okay, this is now better. People were thinking we're not the favorites, so let's go out there and show it to the world. Just like our senior team did in 2012, they were regarded as underdogs. They went all the way and won it. We did the same as well. We started the games and conquered the big names of Africa and won the tournament.
However, the Football Association of Zambia, FAZ, notes that suggestions to tag the young and energetic Chipolopolo boys as underdogs were not fair. This is because the lads had a traceable and tangible record of several successes, which includes a regional title.
Prior to the Under-20 Africa Cup of Nations, the team had just come back from South Africa, where they were crowned Southern African champions during the Kosafa tournament. So I think from that point, we had an idea of what we had. From the word go, we knew we had a special team, and it was a team of individuals that are talented, forward-thinking young people. And I think prior to the tournament, we also had to ensure that they successfully prepared for it. As an association, we had to put in place measures such as camping them in Europe. They had to play big teams like Barcelona, young boys. So I think from the initial stages, we knew what we had, and we knew our targets.
During the Total 2017 Under-20 Africa Cup of Nations, as first-time hosts of Africa's second-largest football tournament, Zambia were placed in Group A with the tournament's four-time winners, Egypt. The Youth Cup Perpetual Crusaders Mali were also in Group A. The 1979 runners-up, Guinea, who was to play Zambia in the opening match at the 2017 Continental Championships, also met the Zambian Under-20 team at the 1999 Africa Youth Championships and was beaten 6-5 by the young Chipolopolo. In the opening match of the 2017 Total Under-20 football showpits, Austria-based striker Patson Daka scored the only goal in the match 3 minutes into the second half to lock a win against Guinea. The Zambia Under-20 team scored into history when they registered their biggest win ever after they walloped Mali 6-1. The biggest loss in the history of Under-20 teams in Zambia was a 5-1 loss against Brazil. Brazil featured the lethal dribbling sensation midfielder Ronaldinho during the 1999 FIFA Under-20 World Cup in Abuja, Nigeria. Back to the 2017 Youth Afcon, Zambia's last game in Group A was against four-time winners Egypt. This time around, historical competition glory failed to demoralize the junior Chipolopolo, who managed to unsettle the junior Pharaohs 3-1. Zambia proceeded to the semi-finals with maximum 9 points.
Starting from our preparation until now, it was in our mind that you have to win it by all costs. I feel awesome, like a champion, for the first time. So it's great.
The semi-finals were played against historical rivals, the Amajita of South Africa. This was the third time the two Southern Africa top 2 teams were meeting after having met in the COSAFA final in December. The junior Chipolopolo won that final 2-1 through goals secured by Boyd Msonda and Belgium-based Kenneth Kalunga. After the 2017 Total semi-final, the two teams demonstrated rare acts of mature sportsmanship by praying together. It is worth noting that the two teams have grown to become friends. The two youthful sides met in the 2012 Zone 6 Under-17 final match, which South Africa won. Meanwhile, the 2017 Zambia-South Africa game, which could not be settled in the 90 minutes regulation time, was filled with some awe-inspiring football. Both teams were very athletic and skillful throughout the match. However, after the 90 minutes regulation time, the match ended in a stalemate. The only goal of the match, which propelled Zambia to the 2017 Total Under-20 Africa Cup of Nations finals, came through Edward Chilufya in the second half of extra time. The goal came through Chilufya's spectacular free kick, caved from his inner left foot. On Sunday, March 12, 2017, most streets in Lusaka that are usually busy were deserted.
Zambia and Senegal in the finals of the Total Under-20 African Cup of Nations.
Zambia was playing Senegal in the Under-20 finals for the first time. Zambia beat Senegal 2-0. However, during the game, some barbaric acts were displayed by Senegal. They were seen throwing some foreign substances on the pitch. The substances are believed to be juju or muti. But this did not come as a surprise to the team. Bilton Musonda, the team's assistant coach, revealed that the boys were psyched to prepare for such eventualities.
We psyched them when we were in Spain. We talked about juju, we talked about everything. Sometimes it's just a mind game. You think it's juju, but they're just playing on your minds. So you have to be just to be ready. In sport, if you would find people using different systems just to achieve what they want to achieve. So we told our boys, as the winning will start from training. Whatever we're going to do on training, that is what is going to help us to win the games. And we did a lot of physical training, we did a lot of tactical training, we did a lot of techniques, and it made us to win the game.
Pastor Cholo of Gospel Envoys says the unfair use of any substance that is likely to create an unfair advantage over an opponent should not be tolerated in football or any sport.
For me, what people have an issue with is the perceived cheating or actual cheating. that Juju introduces in sport. Sport should be sport, you know. And so even when we pray, for example, as Christians, we are not necessarily asking God to make us unfairly win over others. No, what we're asking for is fairness, you know. And so the way society should handle that, for me, is mainly to advocate for fairness in sport, not necessarily the way others want to attempt to twist it to look like Christianity versus Juju. No. For me, it had nothing to do with worship. It had to do with the cheating aspect that usage of such external forces tends to either introduce or at least suggest to introduce. So for me, that is the challenge. So I think that it's a time that everybody calls for fairness. The same way we are calling against Juju, let's also call against use of drugs. You know, that's why we have anti-doping tests and all those things.
Some of the players spoken to indicated that embracing God throughout the tournament placed them in a position where they were ready to conquer anything, including Juju.
We knew that would happen, seeing the same video which went around the social media. We were not scared because we had Christ in us. The Bible says that if God is with you, who can there be against you? So we knew that would happen. So we had to tell our guys anything that will happen in the field, we just have to be firm, just have to be strong and courageous because God is with us. That's why you saw even our teammate went to pick that thing and they thought, because we knew how we knew that it will happen. So we don't have to fear. God was with us. So we are not scared of them, we are not scared of what they had, but we maintain the faith in Christ.
We saw the video and everybody was like talking about the video. For us it was like we just come together and say, guys, if God is with us, we have nothing to fear. Let's just go out there and know in our mind that God is with us and perform our best.
Meanwhile, the National Revolution Party President Cosmo Mumba appealed to CAF to suspend Senegal for using illegal substances on the pitch.
I would love to appeal to FIFA and CAF to discipline and suspend Senegal for their indisciplined behavior. According to the Witchcraft Act in the Republic of Zambia Constitution, it's a criminal offense to practice witchcraft. Therefore, that act, we could not act because we are trying to respect FIFA rules. I think they should be ruled out of the World Cup for their juju behavior.
Several football stakeholders have noted that Senegal's archaic behavior during the Junior Afcon final has the potential to dent the image of African football. Those spoken to suggest that CAF should formulate deliberate policies to penalize those found wanting.
It's an embarrassment to African football, very big embarrassment. And I join all those people that are calling CAF to come up with regulations that specifically deal with juju.
It's really disappointing, especially that these are young boys who everyone expects to be talented and believe in themselves, and rather than thinking juju would help them, it has a bit tarnished the image of African football.
The concerns against the alleged use of juju by Senegal were even echoed by the highest office in the land. President Lungu appealed to former CAF President Issa Hayatou to investigate the use of juju in the Zambia-Senegal game.
Football is a fair game. We all want to win by playing fairly and embracing each other as one family. Football is about friendship. So that's why we are appealing to CAF to take a serious look at the incidents which have been brought to the fore as to what was happening during this tournament, so that we stamp down on these beliefs which are not progressive and can only hinder the growth of sport in Africa.
New Congress Party President Peter Chanda has challenged young people in Zambia to take after the under-20s winning spirit. He says if all young people in different sectors can emulate the Junior Chipolopolo boys, Zambia will be a better place.
I want to urge the Zambian youth to emulate the spirit that the under-20 national team has exhibited, to say in your life and in whatever you do, don't give up because you make it. And these young people have definitely taken the message of transformation that President Edgar Chagwarungu has been advocating, of transforming our mind and thinking of what we can do for Mother Zambia.
Pastor Mdenda Cholwe also echoed similar sentiments.
That's just one angle. The national soccer team has worked and all of us are happy. That means if all of us in the different sectors we are in society can succeed, society will be happy. I think if our farmers can work hard and succeed, the nation will be happy. If the government and private sector workers can all work hard and succeed. For me, I think the value in it, or at the end of it, is that wherever there's success, the nation will celebrate.
Most of the times when Zambia is taking part in football tournaments, musicians usually team up to compose Chipolopolo songs. Some of the artists who have done several football songs say composing football songs is a special way of supporting the growth of sport in the country.
You know, the motivation is, we need to motivate the young generation. Like you saw the under-20, they did well, they won the tournament.
I think it makes the national team, including the players, to realize that they have support from all over the place in the country.
Us as artists, we are the ones that actually prepare the people to have the morale to actually go and support, like into boost.
It's very important to bring the people in numbers, so you know what I'm trying to say. So if we put up the morale boost, we know that a lot of people will come to the stadium, and like we did, we used to do the road shows before the actual show, the actual game.
It has been noted that one of the most important roles of football is its ability to spread the spirit of oneness across all corners of the country.
During the Afcon, the Under-20 Afcon, it didn't matter which tribe you're from, whether you're colored or what. We all united as one, as a country, and they all came in numbers to support us during the Afcon tournament. And that really helped us a lot to achieve our goals, because we couldn't have done it on ourselves, but with our support, and most definitely with God's grace upon us, we managed to conquer Africa and win the Afcon.
It is one of those things that miraculously bring everybody together, irrespective of background, irrespective of creed, irrespective of social grouping. You know, the different stratas of society just suddenly disappear in the face of sports.
In honor of the victorious Under-20 national team, President Edgar Lungu hosted a state luncheon for the team. Here, Enoch Mwepu, the team's vice captain, also presented the trophy to the president. The head of state has pledged to provide the team with everything they will need as they start their campaign to conquer the world at the Under-20 World Cup in South Korea.
My government, through the Ministry of Sports, will continue to provide financial support towards football development and other sport disciplines in this country. This is in line with our 2009 National Sports Policy that promotes international participation in sport for skills development of our athletes, coaches, and sports persons. We will also continue to tap talent from the young people through the promotion of talent identification programs in order to build sport.
The Times of Zambia sports scribe Sandra Mwila and football analyst Ruben Kamanga both agree that adequate preparation is very important to the team's success at the South Korea World Cup.
The only solution to us performing at this Afcon is adequate preparations. I mean, at the World Cup, it's adequate preparations, play high-friendly games, a good camping destination for the boys, and also the boys not to be complacent with the Afcon victory and say, okay, we've done the Afcon and it ends there. They should aim higher. They should target for the World Cup.
A good destination with good football facilities and good exposure, I think that's what we need. So the team must be well prepared. The government looks committed. The Football Association of Zambia is on board. As of course has been announced now that the team has been invited to South Korea in a 4-team tournament. I think that's the start of preparations. The preparations must start now.
The football governing body in the country, Football Association of Zambia, FAZ, knows too well why it is important to make sure that the boys prepare adequately.
To ensure that the team is adequately prepared, one of the things we've done is to accept an invitation to participate in a 4-nation tournament which kicks off this weekend. The team has actually gone to Korea for a 4-nation tournament, so that is part of the preparation. And then when they come back, we are obviously looking at organizing a training camp in Europe like we did last time. We sent them to Spain for 3 weeks. So we think that with those kind of preparations, we should be able to be ready for the World Cup in Ennis when we participate in May.
As they head to the World Cup, the boys have promised to do their country proud at the tournament.
Okay, promises are meant to be broken, but in this case, we're going to the World Cup. Going to the World Cup as African champions, it actually gives us a morale booster even as we start our games. Looking at our group, I would say it's not really an easy group, nor is it a hard group, but gives us a very good chance of qualifying. And I would say we are going to do better than our colleagues in 2007 did. Most definitely our target to go to World Cup is come back with a medal as well from the World Cup.
We are all guys and we are together as a team. We have to do things together. Like we support each other. This is the team who all want to win this. Like we have to just respect each other and love each other. That's all.
A winning team and we can do it. I know going at the World Cup, it's a big stage there, but we are going there as the African champions. So the expectation of our fans is high and the expectation of the world at large is very high. So I expect that we'll do our very best. It will depend on our preparation.
The boys are likely to camp in the UK to prepare for the World Cup. They are also to take part in a 4-team invitation tournament in South Korea. The other 3 teams at the mini tournament are Under-20 World Cup hosts South Korea, Mexico and Saudi Arabia. The mini tournament is highly expected to provide the boys with a solid experience ahead of the May Under-20 World Cup. Here is where we come to the end of this week's edition of News in Depth, where we've been looking at the Under-20 journey to the Africa Cup title. I have been your host, Masauso Mukwayaya. Join Macpherson Kuka next week as he looks at the effects of alcohol abuse on society. Pleasant viewing.